Hello friends, very good evening. Welcome to the webinar on Kaizen. Earlier we had several similar webinars on lean manufacturing, QC tools, 5S visual management, and so on. So in this series, earlier we covered the Kaizen also. So the Kaizen can be conducted in various ways. So in this webinar, a different approach of Kaizen has been explained. So whenever any question comes to your mind, you can type on your screen, and I'll answer whenever any question comes. So welcome to the Qualithon series of webinars. The agenda of today's webinar is, as I mentioned, it is on continuous improvement. For any company, learn the new techniques to make improvements so that it can keep pace with the competition every day intensifying in the global market. Again, I am starting with a goal. What's the goal of any small, medium industry? Is to make continuous improvement in the profit. Year by year, month by month, there has to be improvement in the profitability of the company. Then only it can survive and grow in the intensifying competitive market. Now, the question comes how to make it more profitable. For the customer, three most important parameters for buying any product is quality, cost, and delivery. If there are some deficiency in the quality, if it is a poor, your costs are higher than the competitors, going up, and deliveries are late, then the customer would like to buy from your company. So these are the greatest hurdle which has to be tackled by every company, whether it is small, medium, or large enterprise. The poor quality, increasing cost, and delayed deliveries. These are the three biggest bottlenecks or the hurdles which prevents profitable growth of your company. So these three must be tackled, and how to tackle it, the Kaizen is the solution. So only through Kaizen we can improve our quality, we can reduce cost, and we can ensure on-time delivery. Then only customer will be interested in your products and will continue business with your company. So the theme of the Kaizen is that how to improve quality, cost, and delivery to keep pace with the latest developments in the global market. The Kaizen was in fact taught to the world by a great Japanese consultant, Masaki Imai. In the 60s, he wrote a book, Kaizen, and that became globally popular. And he taught Kaizen to the whole world, not just only Japan, shared Japanese experiences. Fortunately, I had been his student of Kaizen, got good opportunity to learn from him. During my employment with Federation of Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry in, in the FICCI, which is known as a FICCI, the management consulting wing of FICCI. When I was working, I approached Kaizen Institute and did collaboration with a Kaizen Institute of Japan and Masaki Imai-san. Under his guidance, I learned Kaizen. I took training in Japan under his guidance and could complete several consulting projects in India along with Masaki Imai. So during my training in Japan, he presented the book, the most famous book, Gemba Kaizen. So what does Kaizen means? It is a Japanese word made of two words, Kai and Zen. It means making a change for the better. So this is a continuous process. In this competitive world, we have to continuously make our processes, products better and better so that it becomes always a customer preference. So the Kaizen is taken as a continuous improvement in which everyone has to be involved. It has to be done every day and everywhere. It's not just only in the process product. It can be done in office work, it can be done in our house, society, everywhere. So the continuous improvement opportunity exists everywhere. We have to learn the technique and make continuous improvement so that our product and services remain best in the market. So Kaizen means, as I mentioned, continuous improvement without spending much money. Masaki Imai-san, he says that if there is no money, then apply your brain and do the Kaizen. So it doesn't require any capital investment. The famous philosophy behind Kaizen is that creativity before capital. If any problem comes in your company, whether in the marketing, sales, or defect, or any kind of problem, before thinking of any capital investment, you apply your creativity. So this is a creative approach, which is an intellectual activity, which is applied to make the improvement. So Kaizen has got two most important characteristics. The first, there must be a change for the betterment. Whatever you are doing or whatever product you are offering, there must be improvement in its performance through the Kaizen. Means there must be change in from current condition to the better condition. And second, it must be continuous activity. Kaizen is not just a one-time activity. It has to be continuous so that all the time product performance that remains best and most competitive. The purpose of Kaizen, as it is shown in this diagram, to reduce the cost and increase the profitability. How it can be done? In the webinars, earlier webinars on the lean manufacturing cost reduction, I mentioned that what makes product costlier is the waste. The lean thinking is based on the waste minimization. There are 8 kinds of waste we generate. They make our products costlier and inferior in terms of quality and delays in the delivery. So the purpose of Kaizen is to minimize the waste and it has to be continuously done. Then only cost will come down and the profitability can go up. There is a very famous 4M's model in manufacturing use that we use the material, methods, machines, and manpower to convert inputs into various kind of products. In any manufacturing process, we are using these 4M's to transform into products. But along with the products, there are 8 kinds of waste are also generated, which are not controlled in the conventional manufacturing process. This waste was highlighted by Taichi Ono, the architect of lean manufacturing, and he focused only on minimization and elimination of waste. And during last 50 years, the Toyota, where this concept was evolved, that became the best company in the world. So here we have to see the products which is a value for the customer. At the same time, waste is generated, which is causing all the problems for the company and the customer. That has to be minimized. The purpose of Kaizen here, how to minimize the waste. Let's understand waste. Actually, the Japanese word Buddha is used, which is translated in English as a waste. In fact, the waste is not the complete translation. It is a closer to Buddha. So, how it is defined? It's waste is any operation or activity that does not add any value for the customer. That is a waste. Waste adversely affects quality, delays delivery, and increases production costs. So the main purpose of Kaizen is to control the waste, minimize its waste, and that can happen by continuous improvement in the processes and the people. Waste is due to some problems in the process related to quality problems. If any problem related to quality, it generates defects. Cost problems that generates the inventory waste, overproduction waste, and transportation waste. Delivery problems are generating waiting waste, overprocessing, and motion waste. So workplace problem, they cause safety hazards, accidents, environmental pollution, and equipment breakdowns. So these are the four broad category of problems which are generating various kinds of waste, and the Kaizen purpose of the Kaizen is how to minimize it. So the primary purpose of Kaizen is to solve the problems to eliminate the waste. The reason behind the waste generation is some hidden problem we are not able to see. So the Kaizen approach is basically focusing on detection of waste, elimination of waste, and prevention of waste, which can be done only by solving the problem forever. What are the benefits of Kaizen? First, as I mentioned, it eliminates waste, which is the cause of all kinds of problems in a business. Improves quality by reducing the defects, reduces cost by minimizing the waste, improves on time delivery by reducing the delays in the process, improves overall productivity of the process, improves process capability, improves people competence, and resulting to that improvement in the profitability. So the whole purpose of Kaizen is minimization of waste, which results in improvement of quality, cost, and delivery, which is the main concern of customer, and ultimate effect of Kaizen and all the improvement is increase in the profitability of the organization. Now let's see how does Kaizen works. In any organization, there are several kinds of problems, right from the top management to the soft floor level. All these problems from the Kaizen point of view can be classified in three categories. One is the problem related to management, like policy matters, interdepartmental problems, which is called as a management Kaizen, which can be improved by management Kaizen, where the senior management, even the CEO, and all the people are involved. They can do Kaizen to solve the major problems, policy problems of the organization. Just for example, the current GST. In fact, GST introduction is nothing but it Kaizen in our taxation systems. Earlier, a lot of different type of taxes were there: sale tax, excise duty, custom duty, and a lot of cess. so many types of taxes were there. So a sort of management Kaizen at the highest level is done by the government. They simplified in just only one type of tax, GST. So it requires the involvement of all the top management people and the whole country, senior managers, all the finance ministers, cabinet, everybody was involved. So it is one of the best examples of the management Kaizen which has been done in the country. Then comes medium size of problems which can be done in the departments between the interaction of different processes. So for that, we need tools like statistical tools like Six Sigma, statistical techniques, and various lean tools. So they are used, and some Kaizen events are applied to solve the problems of major problems of the process. First was the policy related problems, second is the process related problems. If you just see on the soft load level, there's so many thousands of problems related to machine, related to workplace, related to quality. In every department, every process you will find. So these problems can be solved by the daily Kaizen. So we are having a three kinds of Kaizen depending on the size and complexity of the problem. One is the management Kaizen, which involves the senior management people. They have to work on jointly on improvement of the policy matters and procedures to make a smooth operation of business. Second is the process related problem, which is uses tools like statistical tools and the Kaizen events where the managers can be involved. And third is the many small problems. We will find thousands of such problems in every department every day. So they can be solved by the daily Kaizen or the quality circles, what I discussed in the last webinar. So in this, all the employees, operators, supervisors, managers involved at the soft load level, they can make continuous improvement. How does Kaizen system works? Actually, if you want to improve your products and processes, then you have to raise your standards. Standards are the goals. So with Kaizen, Kaizen is performed with four-phase activity: plan, do, check, act. Any problem comes, it is solved by using the plan, do, check, act methodology, and the standards are raised. Once it is raised, then standards are revised. Then again, PDCA cycle starts for the improvement and videos to the higher level. So this way, it becomes a continuous improvement activity. Just step by step, we have to go and continuously improve and raise the standard so that the quality comes to the higher and higher level at par with the world benchmark. So this is the approach of a Kaizen. It is just like climbing on the multi-storied building. So step by step you have to improve and raise the standard, and this way the continuous improvement of our process, product, and the organization performance improves. And this way Kaizen helps company to sustain and grow its business. The PDCA is the method of solving the problems. So the plan, if you just go in deep, the main majority of time has to be spent on the planning part, which is intellectual work activity. The plan addresses what, why, and how. So if any defect or any deviation in specification is coming, undesired result is coming, so it is because of the problem. So the basically Kaizen is a problem solving technique, and it starts means basically definition of problem. What exactly problem we are facing? That is a starting point for the Kaizen. Then next comes collection of data related to the problem and analysis of the problems, means why this is happening. To solve the problem, we have to find out the root cause of the problem and develop a countermeasure appropriate solution, then only the problem can be eliminated. So in the what phase, define the problem, then collect data and analyze the problem, and identification of the root cause. Means basically why this is happening, because of the root cause. That is the main concern of Kaizen, to eliminate the root cause. Then how to eliminate it, that's called as a developing a countermeasure to solve the problem. So it has to act against the root cause which is causing the problem. So just like a medicine works against a bacteria, the same way a countermeasure has to be evolved which can eliminate the root cause. So up to here, this is a planning is done. Means basically planning part is more intellectual activity, data collection and investigation. Why this is happening? Once it has happened, means the root cause has been detected, then various solutions are developed, and one of the solution is picked up, which is the most appropriate one, and the plan is made to implement in the process to get rid of the problem. So this is the plan phase. Once the root cause is identified, countermeasure developed, and plan is made, then comes next on the real process on the floor, which it has to be put in practice. The plan for the improvement has to put in the practice, and once it is put in practice, we have to monitor the process as well as the result, whether we are getting the desired results, means effect of the problem is eliminated, at the same time whether our process activities are going as per the plan. So the confirmation of results and confirmation of the actions taken both has to be checked, and once finally we get the desired results, problem is solved, whether it is related quality, cost or delivery, safety or any problem. Once we became sure that our countermeasure was the correct, then we have to standardize, raise the standard of operations or standard practice instructions. So revise this way, the Kaizen is performed and the gains of the improvement are stored, restored through the standardization process. This is the whole process of implementation of Kaizen. Masaki Imai, the Kaizen Guru, he has given 10 rules of Kaizen. First one is the improve everything continuously. It is not just intermittent operation. Once we improve, then again sit back. So there has to be continuous improvement in our activities, processes, products, and operations. Abolish old traditional concepts. When Kaizen is being introduced in any company, especially non-Japanese company, a lot of traditional concepts appear as the big bottleneck. Suppose we try to put the Kaizen in some Indian company, many companies they say that it's not a Japan. It may not be possible here. That is only for Japan. So first we have to get rid of this psychological barrier, means all old traditional concept, means it is possible everywhere now. It is being practiced throughout the world, not just only in Japan, and it has given the improvement. So any small or medium industry, they must they must abolish their old paradigm. This is not possible. They will start with that. We can do it. Friends, miss any question if you are having, you can write your, yeah, yes, you can ask any question. You can write on your computer. I'll see in between on the screen and try to answer the questions. So third rule of Kaizen is accept no excuses and make things happen. I've seen in many small, medium industries, especially even in the large companies, especially in our Indian environment, when things are not implemented, we try to find out many excuses because of some constraint we couldn't do it. Means the people involved in the Kaizen activity, they come out with the excuses that material was not there or person was on leave. So many excuses. So the make rule, once you are doing Kaizen in your company, don't accept any excuse. It has to be done. Whatever the plan has been made, it has to be put in practice without any excuse. Fourth rule is that say no to the status quo of implement new methods with confidence. The problem is that most of the managers, most of the people, they are more comfortable with the status quo because it doesn't involve means any thinking, more attention, just they can go on continuing. So for the continuous improvement, you have to challenge the status quo. Don't accept the status quo because the world is changing very fast. Competition is intensifying. Already we are seeing in the many products made by small and medium enterprises, the Chinese, Vietnam, Korea, so many countries, they are competing very tough. So here we have to challenge our status quo and come out with the better and better methods to beat the global competition. Fifth rule is that if something is wrong, correct it immediately. So this is very important in the lean or in the continuous improvement. Something you notice it is being done in wrong way. Don't wait for the future. Immediately stop the production, make it immediately, then only proceed. Sixth rule is that empower everyone to take part in the problem solving. So far, in a traditional manufacturing practice, what is being done, whatever the manager or supervisor says, the only operators and technicians are following their instructions only. So that has to be changed. Now, empower everyone to take part in the problem solving. So the Kaizen, as I mentioned, any problem comes because of some hidden or invisible problem. So Kaizen is a problem solving technique to make improvement. So it's not just job of one manager or supervisor, it is job of everybody. So that's why for the Kaizen, everyone has to be empowered, even the junior most person, he can come out with brilliant ideas. So the Kaizen gives opportunity to apply apply everyone's good idea to make things better. So, but before empowering, it is important that they should be trained on the problem solving techniques, Kaizen techniques, and various tools. The seventh rule of the Kaizen is get information and opinions from multiple people. If you are just taking information and opinion regarding some problem, don't take from only one angle. It's multiple people means from various angle. It's not question of trust only means it is seeing from a different angle. So that's why from multiple sources information should be collected to analyze the real root cause of the problem. Eighth rule is before making decision ask why 5 times to get the root cause. Why analysis is one of the very powerful but very simple tool to find out the root cause. Just one why cannot hide the problem when one why cannot answer what is the root cause. So at least 5 times you ask why this problem is coming. I'll give example later on how to apply the why tool. Ninth rule is that save money through small improvements and spend the saved money on further improvements. As I mentioned, creativity before capital is one of the philosophies of the Kaizen. So, by making small improvements through your wisdom and experiences, you save money, and which can be invested for major improvements in the process. Remember that 10th rule is that remember that improvement has no limits. Never stop trying to improve. So it is called as Kaizen has limit is sky. It is just like sky, no limits are there. So it cannot be stopped at any moment as long as the company exists and the people exist. The Kaizen has to be continuously practiced. So it can take companies to any limit. It has to be challenged, and this way, Kaizen can be permanent affair. It is not just one time event. How the Kaizen is implemented? It is Kaizen is implemented as an event or as a project. Just like any project has got beginning and end. So Kaizen is taken as a project which has got some start date and a completion date. And once it is completed, the second phase of Kaizen starts. So the Kaizen event is a rapid and focused approach to make improvement in specific areas of the shop floor or the office activity. Generally, Kaizen is a 3 to 5 days dedicated event, or it can be 8 to 10 weeks Kaizen project, depending on the availability of the people and the approach of the organization. So it should have a clear objective and scope. Every Kaizen is done for a specific task. That's why the clear expression of objective and scope should be defined. Changes implemented rapidly. Out of the investigations, whatever change is required for making things better, it must be implemented very with very fast speed so that the results are visible, and it is not just one man job, it is a team activity because we need cross functional teams like operation, production, maintenance, supporting service. Even in some Kaizen team, the customer may be also involved. Some for external experts can be also involved. So it is a teamwork, and everyone has to get involved. Once we are doing a continuous improvement across the company, the culturally to bring make the Kaizen culture of organization, every person of the company, right from the chairman, CEO to the junior most person, everybody should be trained on the problem solving in a simple way and problem detection, problem identification, and how to solve it. So every person will be involved in the continuous improvement of the company, then only any company can grow. So, as I mentioned, Kaizen has to be implemented through an event. What is a Kaizen event? Is a team activity performed at workplace to make changes in the process for improving quality, reducing cost, improving on-time delivery, improving productivity, and other performances of the process. So, customer is mainly concerned with three things. You must remember all the time. It is called as QCD, quality, cost, and delivery. If any question, please type on your computer. So, customer concern, even in the past, has been QCD, quality, cost, and delivery. Today, also, again, they look for only these three things. In the future, also, it will remain the QCD is the greatest concern of the customer. But at the same time, the Kaizen has to address the company's problems, employees' problems also. So, what are the company's problems? If cost is going up, that is a competitiveness comes down, profitability comes down. If any process is causing more accidents, unsafe condition, this is also a problem which has to be addressed by the Kaizen to improve the safety of the operation. If nowadays another concern very serious concern has come up about the environment. The process is generating a lot of pollution, which is impacting everybody's health. That can be also addressed by Kaizen to reduce the pollution. Then comes the morale of the employee. Any company grows only based on the involvement of the employee. For involvement of the employee, their morale must be high, they must be enthusiastic in doing work and changing things better, they must be motivated, their self esteem should be high, so the Kaizen can be applied to improve the morale of the employee. So this is not just only for the quality cost of delivery improvement. These are the primary concern of customers. At the same time, organization concern is reducing cost, improving inventory conditions, improving the morale of the employees, workplace condition, and to make it safe, better, and happier place to work. So the Kaizen has got a very wide scope. It can be applied for improving every aspect of business. So with the Kaizen event, a focused event is there, a rapid improvement event is done with a clear focus of the employee by a team for a few days, few weeks based on the nature of a problem. So this way improvement is achieved on a continuous basis. It has been mentioned that Kaizen is everyone's responsibility. What are the roles of people in Kaizen event? Means right from the chief executive to the junior most person, everybody is part of the Kaizen. Here the Kaizen means what are the various roles of the people. First, you need a consultant or the coach. It may be your internal expert or it may be outside consultant who has been formally trained and qualified in the Kaizen who can train the people, guide on the how to conduct the Kaizen. Then comes in the company. In every company, there must be one coordinator who can coordinate throughout the company with the consultant and all the teams. So this is a role given to some senior person in the company who can coordinate all the Kaizen events. Then comes the chief executive. His role is very important because unless he or she approves any change, nothing effective can be done. So chief executive has to take very big responsibility and fully involved to approve all the Kaizen projects, provide resources, encourage people, motivate them to do continuous improvement. Then comes the plant manager who is managing every production activity across all departments throughout the plant. He or she has to take interest and identify where are the problems, prioritize the problems, help the teams to select the improvement areas for the Kaizen. So this way, the plant manager, because he knows all the pain points of his or her plant, so his role is very important to identify and prioritize the problem which should be addressed by the Kaizen. Then the process in charge. Every process there is somebody in charge. So he is deeply involved in the all process activities. So whatever the problems are arising, he should be involved in the Kaizen to solve those problems. Human resource manager has got a very important role because unless the people are trained, unless the people are motivated, unless the people are supported by the management, they cannot wholeheartedly get involved in the continuous improvement activity. So a lot of motivation, inspiration factors are required in the Kaizen. So the job of HR manager has become very important in today's condition to motivate the people, to organize the training, to coordinate all these activities so that people are engagement and involvement increases. So Then comes the team member. Every employee of the company must become a team member of some or other Kaizen project, either through quality circle teams or the Kaizen teams. So this way, the overall competence of the organization that increases by the Kaizen. So the Kaizen is not just only continuous improvement of process, but continuous improvement in the competence of the people. Only through Kaizen they can learn how to solve the problem. They will be trained in the problem solving techniques, quality control tools and techniques. This way, the Kaizen event, Kaizen opportunity that improves the overall collective wisdom of the company, collective problem solving company, and which is going to decide the future of company. Actually, in the Japanese word, it's called cumulative wisdom of the organization is the human capital. Knowledge capital means cumulative wisdom of capital. So through the Kaizen, every employee they learn new things. They learn the problem solving techniques. They learn the motivation techniques, team working techniques. This way, the level of company that improves, and only such companies will be able to compete in the future. So for the performing Kaizen means there has to be preparation. It cannot be just started at any moment. Suppose a Kaizen event has to be started. So before that, any just like any event, whether it is any function or any celebration event or any social event we do. So we plan for the event, we prepare for the event once date is fixed. Okay, before that we have to do a lot of activity preparation so that event is successfully completed. The same thing applies to the Kaizen, because once we decide, okay, Kaizen event in a particular area has to start from this date, but before that date we have to do a lot of exercise, like select the area for Kaizen. You cannot do Kaizen of entire organization. You cannot solve all the problems of company just in one go. You have to improve project by project, event by event, just like a building is made brick by brick. The same way, improvement has to be done by Kaizen project by project. So first, select the area for Kaizen. What should be the area where the Kaizen has to be started by a specific team? So how to do it? We have to find out. Yes, somebody has asked that can we ask questions during training session? Definitely you can interrupt anytime. What is the advantage of Kaizen? As a question has come. What is the advantage of Kaizen? Advantage of Kaizen for the management. It increases your competitiveness by improving your product quality and process quality. So any company, if they want to grow their business, they have to continuously improve their processes and product quality, and that can be achieved by the Kaizen only. So the greatest advantage for the Kaizen is government message by the management is that Kaizen helps in the beginning, as I mentioned, it helps to reduce the cost and improve the profitability of the organization. So the Kaizen helps any company to reduce its cost, solve its problem, and improve its profitability. What is a why analysis? Yes, like cause and effect diagram. Somebody asked why analysis is a part of 8D analysis tool or a different tool. The same tool. Actually, there are only two main tools used for root cause analysis in every process, whether it is 8D problem solving or the Kaizen, PDCA approach, or Six Sigma, anywhere, any problem solving, they are the two main tools: cause and effect diagram and YY analysis. The tools are same. It is used in a different step in all the process. The same tool, there is no difference. Yeah, in this particular Kaizen. In fact, 8D problem solving is also Kaizen. It is given a different name by different company. Otherwise, that's also Kaizen activity. Now, coming to that means how to prepare for the Kaizen. Once company decides that okay, we'll go for the Kaizen, they have to select first the area for Kaizen. There may be thousands of problems in your company. You can't solve all the problems in one go. Just you prioritize which is the most critical and select one area or one department or one function. Okay, we'll start Kaizen activity in this particular area. Then that particular area or department select a problem to be solved. There may be again 8, 10 problems. Ask the managers, ask all the people to figure out the problems. Then prioritize those problems and select one problem which is the most critical to solve the Kaizen. That becomes a Kaizen project. So based on the problem selected, then who are the persons involved who are impacted by that problem, they should become part of team. The team should be made, it should be cross-functional. Suppose it is quality problems, it's not just the production people, but all the operators should be involved who are producing, who are facing the real quality problem, then quality control people, the maintenance people, the marketing people, all the people who are impacted by that particular problem, they should be member of the team because it has to be seen from a different angles, not just only as a production problem. So this way a team is formed and then set the improvement goals. Suppose you are getting okay, my rejection in this particular production line is coming to 12%. Okay, our goal is to bring down to below 50%. Let's say goal is to bring down 5%. So a tentative goal is made. So this becomes very clear for the coordinator to find out which is the area where Kaizen has to be implemented. Then what are the problems in that area, and out of that one particular Kaizen project is selected which has to be addressed. Then forming a team, the concerned people who are touching the process, we are impacted by that problem, they should become a member. Maybe 5 to 10 persons can be involved, but 5 to 7 is ideal, means depending on nature of complexity, but it should be neither very large team nor very small team. So team already nominated, and then set the goals. Means before starting the event, they must collect the data. What is the current condition and what is the target state they want to achieve after making the improvement. So these are the preparation required before starting the Kaizen. Here the coordinator and senior manager should be involved to make sure that all preparation is done before starting the event. How to, let's go in deep, how to select an area for the Kaizen event. Select an area of your plant which will have an impact on your business, but not pose difficulty in the beginning. So here, Miss, say for example, in my view, you should select the projects basically for the Kaizen, which is making pains to the customers. Actually, the most important part is the customer of whole business. So, what are the problems faced by the customer? It can start with the priority of that solving the problems related to customer problems. So, develop a criteria for selection of areas for future Kaizen event. Every company should develop a criteria how to select future Kaizen projects. It should not be just on hunches or just on the feelings of a person or the managers. There has to be basically first in most of the companies, first is the customer concerns. Anything which is pinching to the customer, that should be the first topmost priority, because customers should be always kept happy and satisfied. Then comes second is the quality problems. Quality is the most important. Then maybe next priority may be how to reduce the cost. Then ensuring the priority how to reduce the delivery or delivery delays in the deliveries. So depending on problems faced by the company and nature of business, complexity of operations, a company must develop a criteria for selection of Kaizen projects. So once it is done, then whole organization knows the criteria. It becomes easy and uniform practice. So making selection criteria and making every person concerned, mostly the HR heads of departments of all functions, they should be involved in selection of Kaizen projects based on certain criteria. So in the long term, the criteria for the selection is very, very important for any company for setting up a Kaizen event. Then once area is selected, then select a problem for improvements. Every process, every department, every activity is full of problems. But unfortunately, we are not able to see. We need a third eye to identify the problem. So select a problem for improvement. It may be related to quality, poor quality, high defect rate, late deliveries. Today's means delivery is one of the very, very important aspect for the customer satisfaction. High waste generation. This is if a lot of waste is being generated in the process, it means what? You are wasting a lot of money and your profit margin is shrinking and the overall production cost is going up. So this is an area, the frequent breakdowns of the machine. It means the maintenance is poor or the quality of machines is not good. Material shortage means what? Your the materials management or procurement storage function is not working properly. That's why the shortage or material shortage taking place or the very heavy inventory. Both are means showing that materials management is inefficient. The safety problems, if in some area frequent accidents are taking place, then it becomes a concern for the organization, means immediately it should be addressed. Then the today's environmental, if pollution effluents are generated more, so this becomes a problem. Energy consumption, if it is high, these are the areas of concern. The people absenteeism of the operators, if it is increasing, it means there is something wrong regarding the motivational aspect of the employees, why they are frequently getting absent. So enthusiasm of the employees are very important. If it goes down, means people are doing because without motivation, then that becomes a problem in the long run. So these are the various areas which has to be selected for the improvement. Once first we have selected an area, let's call it a department where you want to start the Kaizen. Then comes second, out of that department you have identified all the problems and then selected one most critical one for the Kaizen event. Once problem is selected, then you have to form a Kaizen team. The team members, they should be concerned with that particular problem. Those who can contribute or those who are facing the problem are impacted by that problem, they should be become the member of the team. Once Kaizen team is made, first there has to be a team leader, a supervisor. In fact, the most important characteristic of a team leader is that he must be a positive attitude person. He can take all the challenges happily and can make things happen. In most of the companies you will find, the majority of people will find they run away from this attitude. Mostly people think that this cannot be solved. But in say, every department, you will find some person. I have seen even the very big companies and the small both companies. There is at least you will find every department very few persons, one or two or few, who are having a positive attitude. Any problem you give them, they'll solve it. They'll never say no. So the team leader selection is a very important. Correct. The positive attitude, competent fellow, competent person, and who enjoys making improvement. Then the 5 to 7 team members. It is a cross-functional team is created. It is production. It involves production, maintenance, quality function, people from quality functions, even the marketing, sales people, they should be also involved if any complaint is coming from the customer angle. So a cross-functional team has to be made so that problem can be seen from a different angle, not just by one angle. Then enthusiastic members, they must be motivated. Motivation is a big challenge. That's why I mentioned the role of human resource development. Human resource management is very important. How to motivate them. It's not just only giving them monetary incentive, but raising their self-esteem, giving them challenge, exciting them to do something unique. So these are the basic things to make the people enthusiastic for making things better. Then team member may include experts. Where the technological problems are there, it's not necessarily only the inside people should be there. External experts can be also inducted as a team member in the even in such some situations where you need improvement or the problems are being faced by the customers. Some customers can be also invited to become a team member because they experience the outcome of the your product use, use of the product, and their experience is very important for making improvements. Then include person with Kaizen experience. In the beginning, in a team member, some person who has earlier in completed some Kaizen project, he should be also made in the team. So his or her experience can be utilized for effective working on Kaizen. So these are some of the features of how to select and form a Kaizen team. Next comes the set the improvement goals. So before starting Kaizen project, we must know what is the current state of the performance. It is called a baseline performance. So we must collect data, study data, and set what is the current level of performance, the baseline data, and depending on that, we must set a goal. Okay, today it is we need to improve by 10% or specific this one. The goal has to be set for the project team. Okay, we have to get from X to the Y. That should be clearly known before starting the Kaizen project. Goals should be SMART. I'm sure that all of you must be aware about the smart terminology of goal. It is, of course, everybody is smart. Any further question you can type on your screen. So what is smart means specific goal should be very specific, clear to the point. It must be measurable. It should not be subjective. We talk about digital. It must be in the numbers. It must be achievable. It should not be made unrealistic also. Means what people can really do, what achieve, and which is a realistic, not an impractical or just imaginary goal. And it must be time bound. We must have a time bound. Okay, our project, if it is a Kaizen event of 5 days, within 5 days we have to complete it. If it is a Kaizen project which can be done under guidance of some consultant, which may be 6 to 8 weeks, so time bound. So each Kaizen project may be specified starting point, end point, within that period that must be completed. Goals should be challenging. So the goal should not be very easy to achieve. At the same time, it should be impossible to achieve. So it must be challenging. It must make people to make a considerable improvement and motivate them to achieve it. Teams should be involved in goal setting. Here, the while goal setting, it should not be imposed by the outsiders or the management. Management can give the inputs, and ultimately the whole team, once team is formed, they should set the goal. Okay, this is our goal we want to achieve. So it should come from them, not by the enforced on them. It may be possible goal cannot be achieved 100%. Don't worry. Even if you have not achieved 100%, even 50% success is better than the 0%. So one should not bother about that we have not achieved 100%. Sometimes it may exceed 100%, maybe 200% success, sometimes it may be 50%. So the Kaizen team should not be discouraged by low success rate. The main thing is spirit of the enthusiasm is important. So one should not take it that means goal must be achieved 100%. So they should put their 100% effort to attain the goal. That is more important than what you achieve it. Now, next comes a Kaizen implementation plan has to be made. Here I have narrated 11 steps based on the experiences. Actually, all plans, whether it is 8D approach or the Six Sigma, DMAC, or Kaizen or A3 thinking, any improvement methodology in the world is based on only PDCA approach. Only the steps are increased somewhere, it is 6, 8, 10, 12, it doesn't matter. So here, actually, the scope remains same in the how we can go. I'm just giving based on my personal experiences of implementing Kaizen in various small industries. Once now you have selected a Kaizen project and form the team. Now the starting point becomes once you are starting Kaizen event, if it is a 3 days event, it can be 5 days event, it can be 8 weeks Kaizen project. So it has to start orientation of Kaizen team. Then the second activities means what to be achieved means the gap has to be identified. The second step is that identify the customer requirements, what actually customer is looking for. Then the collect process data. The fourth step of the planning is analyze the root cause, and fifth step is develop countermeasures. Basically, the Japanese approach, they say we are not developing solutions. In fact, countermeasure is based on certain hypothesis. You don't know what is exact solution. So the countermeasure is just to neutralize the impact of effect of the root cause. So based on hypothesis, one develops this particular action has to be taken, and based on that implementation plan is made. And once plan is implemented, and during check stage only we can verify validate that my implementation plan was correct. Then once it is successful, then it becomes solution, otherwise it is a hypothesis. So then last phase is to act. Once the whole project becomes successful, the standard has to be redocumented, revised, so that the knowledge is internalized during the future. And finally, just to keep the team motivated and create a celebration, create a celebration mood in the company. This is a very important phase of it to keep people motivated to boost their morale. Kaizen is not just only the solving the problem, but boost the morale of the employees, make them more motivated, develop confidence and raise their self-esteem. So the 10th step is celebrate the success and the follow-up. Means once the Kaizen project is completed, it doesn't mean that means it should not be just forgotten. So there has to be in future follow-up in the system so that how things are going and keeping a track to ensure that the improved practices are being continuously practiced by the people. Now let's go in detail. As I told, these are the 4 phases: activity and 11 steps. It can be in 8 steps, like somebody mentioned. 8D is also same thing. So just for the convenience, it has been split into 11 steps. So the first phase, as I mentioned, is the planning phase. So first is step is orientation of training team. Now Kaizen event has to be started formally. It should be launched, especially with a formal inauguration. And by it's better that CEO of the company they should kick off or the inaugurate the Kaizen event. So this is orientation. Welcome to Kaizen team. So all team members they should be welcome. Set the expectations. Management they must explain there what is the purpose of this Kaizen event and what are the expectations they are looking from the team. Introduction of Kaizen objectives and its concepts. Clearly, the objective of the Kaizen specific Kaizen project and concept is communicated to them. And more important, provide training on Kaizen methodology. Kaizen is basically continuous improvement through problem solving. There are a lot of tools are required, but gradually as they go for the more and more project and they learn by doing. So the basic Kaizen methodology is learning by doing. Training constitutes 20% and 80% is doing part. So more emphasis should be on the practice of Kaizen techniques, Kaizen methodology. So a short training followed by the coaching and practice is required. They assign roles and responsibility of team members. Five, as it has been mentioned, there maybe 5 to 7 or even sometimes more also team members. So all team members means should be assigned clear roles and responsibility by the team leader. Means there are a lot of activities, data collection, somebody has to prepare report, somebody has to make logistic arrangements, somebody has to make communication to the all concerned people. There are so many types of activities. Once the team starts doing, they can find out a lot of activities are there. So the every member should be assigned a specific task so that there is no duplication of work. Also at the same time, everybody is equally loaded with responsibility and activity and gets involved. Then next comes identify customer requirement. The main purpose of Kaizen is to delight the customer, at least customer satisfaction and delight. So before that means how they can be happy, how they can be satisfied, we have to identify what is the customer requirement. Here the customer doesn't mean that only who is buying. It may be internal customer or it may be external customer. The definition of customer is very simple. Next process is your customer. So you just identify what next process requires. That becomes a starting point, and then map the process and try to find out who is internal or external customer, and then baseline data means the gap between the customer expectation and the current baseline performance is the concern for the Kaizen. Here the gap between the expectation and actual performance need to be eliminated by improving the process. So that's why we must know the customer expectations, and we must know the what is the current performance of the process. So the gap, that is a concern. Just review the process, identify the customer, who is exactly your customer. It may be your next department or the external customer. Specify customer requirement and related to quality, quantity, productivity, costs, everything. So this is it. Then the collect the process data. This is the pre-event baseline data, means which are the key parameters of the lean, which are to be addressed by the Kaizen. The lead time. Higher the lead time, more the cost, more the waiting time, and less of the competitiveness. Lead time is one of the very, very important criteria for today's competitiveness. Means right from order to delivery, because today's customer is money rich but time poor. They are ready to pay more money, but they don't want to wait long. That's why lead time is taken as one of the very important aspect of the Kaizen. Means lead time compression. Then touch time. Touch time is how much value add time is there. The cycle time, how at what frequency the product is coming out of process, percentages of defectives, all these things, the number of people in the process. The Kaizen, the purpose is not elimination of the people, but elimination of the unnecessary people. Unnecessary people, they can be taken out from the process and deployed some other place. So the more number of persons, more number of operators, if it is there, then this also becomes a problem for the organization from the cost angle and plus responsibility distribution. Then product or service demand by type, by shift, customer demand. Tag time is one of the lean parameters. Is at what frequency customer wants the product from the process. Then quality defects, what is the percentage defectives are generated, what is the percentage of rework, what are the inspection points, all these things has to be studied and data has to be collected. Cycle time by product or service for each product, what is the cycle time, that has to be identified. Space requirements, distance traveled before pictures, and starting means baseline pictures, and after the completion of Kaizen we should take after pictures also at the end. So this is a space requirement, distance traveled, safety issues, future plans, past failure at similar effort. So all these relevant process parameters must be identified, and the baseline means existing practice data should be collected, because these need to be improved. These are measurable, and we have to make improvement, apply the Kaizen to improve these performance parameters. Once all data is collected, then analyze the root cause. As you see, mostly means there are two types of approaches to solve the problem. In our country, mostly I have seen, we face, we practice symptomatic solution of the problem. Just like here, let's take example of radish is one of the Japanese they use example. Actually, if you just see only the leaves and you want to, means the problems are appearing like leaves as a symptom, and if you want to just cut the leaves and without impacting the root, without changing any root, again it will come up. So here, if you are just doing actions to prevent the problem by symptoms, then it is symptomatic, it is not solved. And in fact, we have to undergo, we have to analyze the underlying causes, the root. Problem starts there. So how to see those problems? Somebody also questioned that there are two main tools are there: cause and effect diagram and YY analysis. It has to be understood very properly. and that has to be applied. So our purpose is that the problem is hidden in the roots, which is not visible. So by applying the cause and effect analysis and why analysis and collecting all data and brainstorming by the team, we can reach to the root cause. So this is the most critical exercise of any Kaizen event. If we have achieved that, we have discovered the true root cause, then we can say the 50% problem is solved. So all the skill and wisdom of the Kaizen team has to be applied in the root cause analysis. How it is done, I'm sure that most of you must be aware that mostly we call it 4M's: man, material, methods, and machines. So it has been further expanded. Here, the man materials management means policy matters, equipment, measurement system, environmental factors. So these are the now 6 areas. Means if any quality problem is occurring in any process, it may be because of some deficiency in these 6 areas. Either people are not well trained, it may be because of the people problem, means because operator is unskilled, that's causing this quality problem, or the material we are buying is not to the quality standard, not meeting the specification, that may appear in the as a defect, or the management because of the cost policy, they are forcing procurement of low cost material, that is the impacting the problem, or the quality policy, or the people are not getting motivated by the management. So that may be the reason. The equipment may not have the process capability to that extent, or it is not properly maintained. The tolerance is beyond the specification limits. Then this is a very important, the measurement part. Everything may be right, but if your measurement system is wrong, even either your instrument of measurement is not properly calibrated, defective, then again it will, even a good product will appear as defective, or the person who is measuring, he is not well trained, he doesn't know how to measure. So again, even a good product can be branded as a defective one. So the measurement is one of the very important aspect. You must see that your measuring tools are properly calibrated, they are accurate. And second, that person who is measuring, he has got a proper skill to measure. This I would like to highlight. This is a very simple, but this is one of the major cause. Even the good quality products are measured because of the measurement problems, are rated or defective, or the bad quality product can be rated as a quality product because of the wrong measurement methods. So another important part has become quality, and the quality due to environment. Environment means has to be seen from two angles, from the product quality angle and from the pollution control angle. So this has to be taken very seriously throughout the world. Now the global warming because of the environmental problems is the concern. So in the Kaizen, this factor should not be ignored. How to ensure that our environment is not impacted. Because of this reason only, government of India has launched a new scheme of zero defect, zero effect. You must have heard. In fact, last year I conducted the very first webinar on zero defect, zero effect. So, how to make sure that quality is maintained, quality of product is maintained, at the same time, quality of environment is also maintained. So, here the cause and effect analysis is the most powerful tool to attain the root cause, but it requires a lot of skill because we can go to several level of micro analysis. So this is a teamwork. It has to be done by the team from different angle, and special methodology has to be used for the. Now, about coming back to the why analysis, somebody questioned also. So this is very popular in Japan. Means minimum 5 times you must ask the why, or it can be longer also, till you reach to the ultimate root cause. When confronted with a problem, have you ever stopped and asked why 5 times? Means these things, especially cause and effect diagram, why analysis, I'll request all the participants they can start practicing immediately just to discover the root cause. It is difficult to do even though it sounds easy. It appears that just 5 questions, but it requires a lot of intelligence, a lot of thinking. Let's take this example. Suppose a machine suddenly stopped working, shut down, its breakdown has taken place, power has gone. So now, why did this applying the why analysis? First question asked by the person who is investigating from the operator, why did the machine stop? Answer came from the operator because the fuse blew due to an overload. Machine because fuse blown up, but that's not the root cause. Then second question, why was there an overload? Because the bearing lubrication was inadequate. Because bearing became hot and seized, and that was causing the overloading of the machine. Again, it is not the root cause. Then third question, why was the lubricant inadequate? Lubrication was inadequate because the lubrication pump was not pumping sufficiently. Again, we have not sorry reached to the root cause. Then fourth question, why was not the lubricating pump working right? Because the pump shaft was worn and rattling. Again, we have not reached to the root cause. Why was it worn out? Because there was no strainer and the metal scrap got in. So in the pumping of the lubrication, there was a strainer was supposed to be put in the fluid line so that no solid particle goes, and the strainer was missing. Because of that, some solid iron piece has gone and flow of the lubricant stopped, and because of that all the problem has started. So the ultimate root cause was not the fuse blow. It's mostly symptomatic. What we do once it is flown, fuse has blown, electrician comes and replaces the fuse. Again it blows, then he puts more heavier wire which can take more load resistance, but the impact is that because of the over resistance the whole motor gets burnt. This is the way how the minimum five why analysis that leads to the root cause. Means the metal scrap because of the absence of strainer, whole thing has come. So this way the cause and effect diagram and the why analysis are the two most important, and to my knowledge these are the only two tools in every process, whether a Six Sigma or 8D problem solving, A3 thinking, everywhere these two are the key processes which are used for the root cause analysis. Once we have identified the root cause, then if correct identification is done, then the 50% problem is solved. So what next? Develop countermeasures. It is called as Japanese they call it. It is why they don't call it solution, because solution is not known. This is based on hypothesis, based on our available knowledge and the analysis. We develop a methodology which can neutralize the effect of adverse effect of the problem. So for every problem there are thousands of solutions. So we should not restrict just only one solution for it, one countermeasure. So here the powerful tool is the brainstorming. All the people who are impacted or who are having exposure, they should sit together and develop number of solutions without any restrictions. So, and this is a brainstorming, or even the brain writing is also nowadays it is called. So the ideas come and all must be pinned down. All should be. And once all the solutions are developed, means various alternative solutions, then all should be noted down. And then comes the prioritization takes place, like a Pareto analysis, which can be more effective depending on the impact of various solutions. We should prioritize and select the most appropriate solution for the company. Sometimes the best solution may be very expensive, company cannot afford. So the solution should be the most appropriate, which can be easily implemented in the company, but effective. So the whole development of number of solutions and then prioritizing the impact of solution, then selecting one most appropriate solution is taken as the countermeasure. This is again group activity. It requires knowledge of brainstorming and different tools. Once solution is developed, countermeasure is developed. Means countermeasure, why it is called? Because it is going to neutralize the root cause of the problem. Then before implementing the solution, we have to develop a plan. So once the countermeasure is known, then we have, before making a plan, we should think about various factors like, will the new skill set be required to apply that countermeasure? Is the current organizational structure is sufficient? Are there cultural issues? This may happen several times. Is there potential for pushback? Means you may apply the countermeasure, but again come back. Any implication for the suppliers, means availability of that particular items from the supplier, implications for customers, implication for team members. Do current technologies support the new process? Are they available and cost justifiable? Technology is an enabler, not a solution. So does the reward system support the new process? All these aspects has to be considered during development of action plan for the implementation of countermeasure. And based on considerations, a plan has to be made. So, so this is the first phase of Kaizen activity, means right from starting orientation team to collecting data, analyzing it, developing countermeasure, and making an implementation. So this is a planning phase, the longest, which requires very high level of knowledge, involvement, analysis. So once the plan is developed, now the next phase means comes phase two of putting the plan into action. So implementing the solution or countermeasure, what it requires means after the plan we have implemented, we have to review it continuously and assess it. may, may revise the plan if it is not giving the desired result. Any question, please? You can put on your screen. So this is the cycle: implement, review, assess, and revise the plan. To implement the solution or the countermeasure, plan already we have developed. After the plan has been developed, then inform all stakeholders, because HODs, operators, supervisors, everybody has to be involved. There may be some compromise required for implementation, means loss of production, requirement of some additional resources. All these things has to be seen, because in any running plant, priorities may be different. So some compromise has to be made by the team or the process owner to make sure that solution is implemented. And once it is implemented, it has to be monitored. And unlike other methodology, once we are monitoring in most of the process, people just see the what are the results coming. Here not just results, means we have to monitor process and the procedure and result both has to be monitored continuously. Means first we have to monitor means whether the results are coming as per the plan, and the same time we have to monitor whether actions are being taken as per the plan. The action and the result both has to be monitored, because many times the results are poor because of the improper actions. So monitoring has to be on the both angle, from the result and process during the implementation. So the do part, it requires a lot of time, because means before implementing, even some training may be required for the operators. They should be communicated. And from the statistical angle, is unless the process becomes stable, we cannot say that it has become a successful solution. So we have to means this is a this requires quite long time observation of the process and its results to make the process stable. Once the correct countermeasure has been applied, so it takes time to become stable. Unless the process becomes stable, we cannot say that countermeasure or the solution has been the correct. So then comes the phase 3, is what check the result and process. As I told, most of the companies you will find means there are two types of company, means the process oriented company and result oriented company. In the Kaizen, we need both orientation. Most of the companies, they just see the result oriented. Even the advertisements, we see that result oriented people are required. But in fact, that's not correct. Both means we need a process orientation as well as result orientation, both in the Kaizen. So what is a process orientation? How things are being done. The way we do things means basically what we make the plan, that is a process orientation. And the result means what is the result coming, what is the outcome coming. So in the Kaizen or in the lean techniques, we have to check both, whether the process is being managed properly and the results are coming according to the plan. So both process orientation and result orientation both has to be applied and both has to be monitored, because there is a relationship between the process is process steps and the outcome of the process. If it is not coming as per plan, means there may be two reasons: either it is not being followed properly, just like a medicine. Means if doctor gives us certain medicine, but after a few days we go and report that it is means my condition of health is not improving or the fever is not coming down. There may be two reasons: either you have not followed the methodology, what doctor prescribed you, do's and don'ts, or something wrong with the improper planning of the medicine. So by both these things only doctor analyzes, and either he changes the plan, means gives another medicine, or once he finds out that you are not following the do's and don'ts. So the check step is equally important to go the problem response of the outcome of the implementation. So once we are getting favorable results, it means that our countermeasures applied is correct and we should follow it. And but we are not getting the proper result. Again, the plan has to be revised and go back and again re-implement it. So now it comes, once we are successful in getting the desired outcome and after following the correct process, then fourth phase of the Kaizen comes as plan, do, check, act phase. Is the means result is favorable, then standardize the work. Standard work establishes the best and most reliable method and sequence for each process and each worker. So standardization involves material part aspect, machine aspect, method aspect, people aspect, and measurement aspects. It's all the possible causes which we noticed earlier. Means all must be addressed in the standardized work. Means standard practice instruction is made based on the improved process, addressing all the man, machine, method, people, and measurement aspect, environmental aspect, so that the gains from the Kaizen are stabilized and the future method of doing work is improved, so that standard become the future guideline for operations. So 10th step is that because Kaizen must be promoted across the organization, all the people they must get involved from the inside, motivated. So here the celebration of the success. Every success must be celebrated. A new culture is to be created. In that celebration, senior leaders they must be involved. So this becomes very encouraging for the employee, and the team gets motivated. Their self-esteem becomes high. At the same time, non-team members, other people also they see the strength of Kaizen. So this motivates other people to get involved in the Kaizen. So the recognition, reward and recognition, two very important thing. Reward is given for the gains. It is mostly in the tangible forms, but the recognition that raises the self-esteem of the employee. The reward and recognition should be policy of the company to recognize the contribution of all the people. So this is way it can be promoted across the organization and all employees will start taking interest on that. So now I'm coming to give a practical exercise which has been really put in the small industry during one lean implementation. This is an automotive component company. This is product is called as a banjo. This is made by CNC machine. This is mostly in the nano car or the various automobiles it is used for the lubricating of the moving part. So this company, the Faridabad, they had lot of orders, but they were not able to meet the required quantity of that. So during lead intervention, we just selected, let's see how to increase the productivity of this plant, small unit, without any capital investment. So they are using the bright steel bars for making the banjo, and this is done by several stages of automate machining and CNC machining. The first phase plan, first the Kaizen team training. The Kaizen team was formed by the company for improving the productivity of banjo. So the various tools were taught to them. What are the tools, how to do it, and their roles were defined. Then identify the customer requirement. If you see the orders were up to 5,000, but they are able to just see the 4,000 were the order placed, but they are able to do just 2,900. They were able to do. Big gap was there. So the main problem is defined in form of a gap. Is identification of the gap, baseline data, and the goal. That is a gap that has to be eliminated by applying the Kaizen by improvement process. So the first step was done process mapping. So what are the various steps involved in that production of banjo is the rub ball turning, CNC ball turning, facing drilling and grooving, facing grooving, magnetic particle testing, and sampling. So these are the operations involved in the particular production process. So these are the CNC machine, how it is being done. Then third step, process data. All data were collected. Here the most important means why productivity of any product depends on the cycle time of the machine or cycle time of specific process. So all the six process involved means what we identified in the mapping. So operation cycle time in seconds were measured several times using the stopwatch. So it was found means differently. So production cycle time, depending on number of machines, it ranges between 10 to 22.5. Now to set the goal, here the takt time when very powerful lean tools. Here the target was set now 4,000 banjos must be produced every day. For that, the demand rate means takt time comes to 18 seconds. Means that becomes that every 18 second one unit of product should come out. So the target was set and the cycle time, put the graph. If you see the takt time 18 second and cycle time various process, if cycle time is more than the takt time, it means that you cannot meet the demand. If it is less, it means process capacity is less utilized. So here in the fourth process you will find the cycle time was much higher than the takt time, so it means that it cannot meet. So to meet the demand rate, the cycle time of these four processes must be brought below 18 seconds. So the root cause analysis was done of the four processes where the takt time was more and the capability limitations and root causes were identified and the gap means cycle time gap was identified. It was from more excess 2 seconds to the 7 seconds. Now again, countermeasures were developed. Means here the expert advice was also taken by the machine suppliers and all the operation and maintenance people. They sat together, applied their brain, and they found out various solutions. What are the solutions? The countermeasures means for rub ball turning, meeting the demand rate. So one more machine was required. Then second was CNC ball turning, reduce cutting load. Third is the facing drilling and boring operation. Rotary tools with carbide cutting tools has to be used and reduce changeover time in the fourth floor. So these were the root causes were discussed by all the operating and maintenance people. A plan was made for 5 weeks. He implemented how it can be done in various stages. This way, the plan was made 6 steps, and then comes the do phase. The improvement actions taken, and the actual target time was 18 seconds. Actual cycle time came to 15, 16, less than 18 in three processes. And, and the fourth process, it came to 20 seconds. So the impact means really significant impact was observed. Again, it was checked. If you see, the most of the process means the blue one is the before and the red one is the after. Except one process, all cycle time was reduced. One process because it was needed some major capital investment. That's why the company deferred for the time being. So this way, cycle time of the processes, three processes were brought down much below the takt time. So result of improvement, earlier before lean it was 25 seconds cycle time. After lean it became 20 seconds. Productivity units per hour, before lean it was one, before Kaizen it was 184 units per hour. It increased to 242 units per hour. Productivity improvement 30% at the potential to increase the sales revenue is increased by 30%. The fourth phase, standardized work chart was developed. SPI was standard practice instruction was revised, and all the operators were trained new methodology work. And to celebrate the success, a formal celebration was made. Some incentives were given to the team members to motivate, and an example was created by the company how things can be changed without making any major capital investment. So this is a very important. It should not be just left that you have achieved the success. Plan, execute, follow up. So instruction was given to the all the concerned people. Management decided means this progress just to hold the gain. We must follow up every 3 months the performance in during the daily review meetings. So regularly it was followed up and to ensure that things are improving, not coming down. So this way the Kaizen was concluded. So finally, I'll give this message of my Kaizen Guru and the Kaizen Guru of the world. Fortunately, I got opportunity to learn from him. So the message of the Kaizen strategy is that not a day should go by without some kind of improvement being made somewhere in the company. So the what Kaizen Guru says that we must see that every day there should be some clear improvement in the company. That way the Kaizen spirit can be promoted in a company. So my suggestion to all small, medium enterprises, these are the very simple things. Only through Kaizen you can make significant improvement. It doesn't require investment, any capital investment, some little investment to hire a good consultant, good trainer, good motivator to initiate Kaizen in your company. And through Kaizen, only you can improve continuously. There is a very big saying that Rome was not built in a day. Any company has not become the world class or the topmost just in one day. Just by small number of Kaizens is step by step improvement, any company can become world class. The example, best example is a Toyota. I had opportunity to visit that company. It was a textile company, power loom company, and which was making just 11,000 trucks during the World War to support the country, army of their country. 11,000 trucks a year. Now it is producing more than 12 million, means more than a crore automobiles in the world. Through the Kaizen, it has become the topmost number one company of the world, and everybody is trying to learn from them. Indian example of SME, what I again quote, the Havels is one of the company which was just started with the rupees 10,000 capital. Now it is operating in 59 countries, more than 10,000 turnover. And you might be seeing in the advertisement every day they are coming with a new domestic appliance or the industrial products. So these are the live examples of continuous improvement, how a company can do. And every company has, whether it is small or medium, it has a potential to become multinational corporation, provided they follow the continuous improvement. Whether it is 8D or Six Sigma or the Kaizen is the very simple approach, but you have to invest time, effort, and money to train your people to develop their competence and motivate them to make improvement. This way, the creativity and wisdom of all employees can be tapped for the betterment of a company. But the change has to begin from the top. Means unless the top management decides and commits for Kaizen, it cannot happen. So with this, I conclude this webinar. Whatever questions, if you are having any, you can mail it to, send a mail. We'll reply through the mail also. So this is about the Kaizen. So with this input, Even I'm sure even you can start Kaizen from tomorrow itself in your company. Now the next similar webinar will be conducting on 15 December, that is visual management. We'll talk, means all these are the parts, means facilitate Kaizen. We'll discuss on that, how visual management can be applied to improve the condition of the company. So this way, thanks for your patient hearing and participation in this webinar. Thank you.